Hey guys, Steven here again to do another breakdown for you. Obviously it's been a rough few days for us Chargers fans. That loss really hurt, right? And I think that's okay to talk about. But there were some positive things on the game on Sunday, and I wanted to bring those up here. So we're going to highlight some of those, talk about some plays, break down some plays. I'm really excited to do that. I love football, man, and I love breaking down film. So really excited to get this out to you. Before I get started there, I do want to mention our sponsor, Manscaped. They have a ton of good products out there to make sure that you are feeling your best. Obviously that includes their signature lawnmower, which is so needed in today's world as a modern man, as a refined gentleman, as they put it. I personally love their boxers. Their boxers are super comfortable. The waistline doesn't bend, doesn't wrinkle. It's just it's a fantastic product. Highly recommend those as well. If you type in the code GUILTY at checkout, you get an additional 20% off, which is a huge deal, right? 20% is a big time discount. So definitely go take advantage of that. So that being said, let's get into this breakdown. Really excited to get this out to you guys. Like I mentioned, a lot of plays. Really want to get some positivity out in the world more than anything, especially with a certain election going on. That's kind of a mess. That being said, let's get into it. All right. So first and foremost, I think this team did a lot of positive things, which I'm going to get into. I'm going to get into some players and break this thing down. But I think the biggest thing for me in terms of positive takeaway from this game is that they were able to close the first half strong and open it strong, right? They scored 2 touchdowns to go into halftime, open with a touchdown, and then kicked a field goal. So they were able to get 24 points in their 4 possessions, closing and opening at halftime. So to me, that's something that had been a big issue for this team. Going back as far as really Kansas City, ever since Justin Herbert has kind of taken over. So to see them close out and open up the second half was really a big time leap from this team, and I think that experience is something that they can put in their back pocket, something that should help them going forward in terms of winning games. I thought that they should have put this team away, but unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So in terms of other bright spots, right, we have to talk about Justin Herbert. And that is the silver lining of all of these losses, is that we get to watch Justin Herbert continue to grow and develop and come into his own as a starting quarterback. And so to me, I saw something on Sunday that really showed another step in his growth. And I'm going to talk about it on this play specifically. Opening up in the first quarter, he throws a pick, he gets sacked. Really, this was the first time that we saw in-game adversity to start the game for Justin Herbert. And, it's so crucial for quarterbacks to be able to bounce back in those situations. And you knew that something just had to get him going. And in past games, we've seen it be a deep bomb to Jalen Guyton or Keenan Allen or Mike Williams or what have you. But in this game, it was so exciting for me to watch this film and see that the thing that got him going was him going through progressions and him using his brain on the field and being able to make right decisions. And this really got him into a groove. Like I mentioned, they were able to close the half with 2 touchdowns after this play, kind of sparked this drive. So let's get into this play specifically on first down. So the first read right here you're going to see is to Mike Williams. He's going to come to his right, and then he's going to work all the way back to his left and throw to Justin Jackson. Now, Justin Jackson had a fantastic game on Sunday, and that's something that I seriously considered talking about here. But to me, Justin Herbert is the story. There's too many Justins on this team, man. Justin Herbert, Justin Jackson, Justin Jones. We need some nicknames going here. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this play because if you watched my big breakdown on Herbert and his transformation, you saw that one of my big concerns was that he had the tendency to trust his legs versus pressure instead of his playmakers. And that's a big aspect of playing quarterback and being able to trust your guys to make plays in the right spots. And so to me, seeing this kind of play showed some growth, another aspect in which he's developed. And I'm going to talk about why. So the first thing is there's going to be a play action fake. The immediate read is obviously quarterbacks look straight down the field, but then his first read is Mike Williams over to the right. And he doesn't like what he sees there. So he's going to come back to the middle. And I want to say back to Keenan Allen. And then he's going to come step up in the pocket. And at first he wants to run, right? And if he runs, this is first down, like I mentioned, he could get 7-8 yards, and that's a fine play. But to me, it's more important that he trusted his playmaker, in this case, Justin Jackson, saved himself from potentially getting hit, which, as we saw, the Denver Broncos were, kind of dirty in this game. But to me, this showed some more growth from Justin Herbert. Makes a fantastic decision to, at the last minute, really, like I said, he could have ran and he could have gotten 7-8 yards, but trusting your guys to make this play and sparking yourself as well as the whole offense just showed another step of growth. And to me, it really got Justin Herbert going. And, we're going to see these plays coming up here. So I tweeted out this play. This is kind of an area of growth from Justin and Shane Steichen. We've seen in the past this team take these play action fakes and chuck it deep to Jalen Guyton. And they added some wrinkles here with Keenan Allen coming underneath. So this is just a fantastic play design, great decision by Justin Herbert, great execution. So Guyton's going to come over the top, over the middle, and so is Mike Williams, right? That's going to draw a lot of attention. And Jalen Guyton actually takes two guys with him, as Justin Simmons, the great free safety for the Broncos, stays with Jalen Guyton. And then Keenan Allen's going to come on over a deep crosser, which, when you have two guys go deep with Jalen Guyton, that frees up Keenan Allen, right? So great play, great execution, gets the team a 1st and goal from the 8-yard line, and going to set this amazing play up on this next play for this touchdown to Gabe Neighbors, which by now you've seen the video, man, and I've tweeted it, and some other analysts have tweeted it, but this is just an absurd throw from Justin Herbert. Whew, man. So going through this and watching this live, I had to watch this a few times. So he's going to roll out, right? And he could have thrown this right now, throw with a little anticipation. Mike Williams is getting held. So, you get another shot at this, but it's very clustered up right now. And so Justin is going to buy as much time as he needs. And that's something he talked about today in his press conference. But this linebacker is right in his face the entire time. And right now, like when he throws it, this is absurd. The arm talent right now, because the linebacker is on his right side and he's just going to whip it around the linebacker to Gabe Neighbors. And I want you to look where Gabe Neighbors is right now. Like, this whole thing is absurd from Justin Herbert, man. And the arm talent to whip this thing around the linebacker, throw with anticipation, lead Gabe Neighbors into the right spot. This is just a special throw, man. And when I watched this, man, I just couldn't help but chuckle, man. There's nothing else. Every single week, Justin Herbert just does something special. And this week it happened to be a sidearm chuck zip right outside of the linebacker's hands, man. And just a fantastic play by the rookie, which ended the half, I think. Yeah. So now the Chargers' first possession coming out of halftime, right? And they do a good job of marching down the field. And I think we're slowly seeing Justin Herbert begin to trust Mike Williams, which is another big positive thing, because Mike Williams is crucial to this team's success. It can't always be 17 targets for Keenan Allen, right? You've got to get other guys involved consistently. We've seen him elevate others and throw touchdown others, but he's finally getting into a rhythm with Mike Williams, and I think it showed in this game. It really did. And so I mentioned how you manipulate the defense with your eyes, and that's what he does here with his first read. Is he's going to keep his eyes downfield and keep Justin Simmons at bay. Justin Simmons has to be able to react to what the quarterback is doing in this situation as the single high safety. And so as a quarterback, you want to keep your eyes down the field as long as possible. And that way you're also ensuring if Mike Williams doesn't get open, you can come back to Hunter Henry, who's open, or Keenan Allen, who's also going deep to the other side. So really is just a fantastic job by Justin Herbert. And you talk about a great throw, man. This is right in the bucket, right in the only spot that Mike Williams needs it. His left arm is getting held by this corner, AJ Bouye. So he catches it with his one arm, man, and you have to drop that in a bucket, and that's what happened. All right, so the other thing that really was the biggest positive for me was this offensive line, man. They really stepped up in a big way against the Broncos defense, and the Broncos defensive line and defensive front is really a very good group, even without all the players that they're missing, Von Miller, Jarrell Casey. they are still one of the top 10 units against the run. And, credit to the Broncos defense for pushing through those injuries. But this offensive line, it's not like they went from 48 yards against the Jaguars to like 120. They went all the way up to 210, man, and really dominated this game. And well, the offensive line, the offense in general was fantastic on Sunday. So I guess dominate is a poor choice of words. All right, so let's get it started here. This is going to be a Justin Jackson run. It's a read option. It's going to go for 5 yards to open on first down. And, this isn't a big run. This isn't anything special. But we rarely saw this team get negative yards on their first down runs on Sunday. It only happened once, I believe, maybe twice, if I can remember right, which had been a big time issue because then they're in second and long and then they're in third and long. And this offensive line really controlled the line of scrimmage. They did a fantastic job giving them easy second down plays and manageable distances throughout the rest of the game. So Bradley Chubb is going to be the read option guy. Sam Tevy is going to go straight up to the linebacker. Then you're going to have a double team. Everybody's going to reach to the right, And when you see this kind of picture right here from an offensive line standpoint, this is as good as it gets, especially for the Chargers. But you have a hat on a hat, which is the very common expression. Every single lineman is blocking a Broncos player. They're all doing their jobs. Everyone is moving as one. Justin Herbert obviously could have kept this if he wanted to. I feel like, it probably would have netted about 5-6 yards as well. But getting positive yards on first down is just not something that we saw earlier on in the season. And, Troymaine Pope, he's in a concussion protocol right now. I think if he's not able to play, that's a big loss, which is crazy to say because I thought he really played a fantastic game on Sunday and really kind of broke out. And I would have loved to see him, get another opportunity. So this is a draw play, right? So the tackles are going to kind of set and get the defensive ends going up the field. And this is kind of where Cole Toner kind of showed off. And I thought that he did a great job of fighting through every single snap. He's going against Shelby Harris right now. Shelby Harris is a fantastic player. He's very stout against the run. And again, when you see this kind of picture as a running back and watching this film, this is just a great job. I think Dan Feeney does a very good job of getting to that second level and does just enough to make that Broncos linebacker pause. And then Troymaine Pope gets to the second level, and this is a big play on second down. I want to say this one was. Now, this is the one that Pope pops off, and this is the one where he gets 34 yards. Again, just excellent execution by the Chargers offensive line. So you're going to see right away, everybody's reaching to their right now. And it starts with Brian Bulaga and Cole Toner and Dan Feeney. Those are the three most important players on this run because you're going to the front side. But Forrest Lamp does a fantastic job of getting his hips around and sealing off Shelby Harris as well. And so I want to talk about Cole Toner and Forrest and Dan Feeney right here. They are responsible for number 93, the defensive tackle, and number 45, the linebacker. And so really, it's just a lot of feel and communication as far as who's going to get to that second level. And I think they played this, beautifully, the two of them. Dan Feeney recognizes early on that Cole Toner has his guy. There's no need for him to kind of step in right next to him. So he's going to come off and just does a fantastic job of getting to that linebacker. Like I mentioned, Forrest Lamp seals his man off as well. Sam Tevy, not pretty, but he does just enough to get that linebacker out of the picture. And then Troymaine Pope is able to burst through for a 30-yard gain, which is a huge, huge play. And like I mentioned, I'm looking forward to watching him continue to play. I think he brought a level of juice that the Chargers needed. Kind of gave me some Darren Sproles vibes. Darren Sproles, obviously beloved by the Chargers fan base. And I think, they need his juice that he's able to bring. So I know the defense mostly played pretty bad in the second half. I thought they played fantastic in the first half. But I did want to point this play out because I thought Rayshon Jenkins had a very good game on Sunday. And, as though occasionally PFF will give a good grade that I agree on. And I think giving a 90 is probably a bit of a stretch. That's basically a perfect grade for a defensive player. I'm not going to say that, but I thought Rayshon Jenkins played very well, probably his best game of the season. And this play in particular, I don't want to be negative, but a lot of people tend to think like, oh, it's just the cover three on every play. It's not true. The Chargers have done a good job of mixing up coverages this year. It's just in key situations, unfortunately, Gus Bradley goes back to the cover three. But this play is going to turn into cover two. This is Rayshawn Jenkins' interception. So I'm going to watch it one time with you guys, and then I'll break it down. So Rayshawn Jenkins is going to drop back and turn this into a cover two principle. And that makes a great play on the ball and takes it back and puts the Chargers in position to really, they should have been able to stamp this team out right here. But obviously the interception did not help. So let's go through this again. Rayshawn Jenkins, he's right now in the middle of the defense. They're showing cover three to the Denver offense. And I think this is why Drew Lock kind of figured that he could take this kind of shot, because he figured that Nasir Adderley was going to be the only safety deep. And so this honestly is a really well-designed play by Gus Bradley. I would love to see this more often. It's something that also kind of confused Drew Brees. And so I think when you drop into this play like this, it's another thing, and it's another feather in your cap that you can do as a defense to confuse quarterbacks. And Jerry Jeudy is very sudden, man. I think Casey Hayward plays this as good as he possibly can, but he did get beat a little bit. That being said, Rayshawn Jenkins makes a great read, great play on the ball. And like I mentioned, this should have been given the Chargers the opportunity to close the Broncos out, but unfortunately just didn't work. So the next one that we're going to see is Jerry Tillery. And, he played very well in his limited snaps. I think this kind of role suits him very well because he's still developing the strength that is necessary to play on an every down basis in terms of a defensive tackle. And that's not a knock on Jerry. It's just the reality. But we haven't really seen him bull rush and do it successfully. So to me, this kind of play shows that he is developing that strength necessary. And you'll see him just bull rush 71 back into the quarterback and get this sack. So to me, this is a really good sign because it's the first time he's winning because of strength. And I know number 71 was a backup offensive lineman, but this man is, if he can do this on a consistent basis and combine it with his good hand techniques that he's learning and his hand fighting, which he's learning from Joey Bosa, that's just a fantastic, obviously a fantastic sign for a first round pick that we're all hoping that is able to succeed. So kind of summing this up and wrapping it up, I thought there were some positives on Sunday. Unfortunately, it just took a defensive collapse of historic proportions to make us all feel so bad. Man, they should have won this game. But there were a lot of good things, man. And I think Justin Herbert, more than anything else, we're seeing him develop every single week. And I truly believe that the wins are going to come. Maybe not this year. Maybe they'll end up at around 7-9. I think is probably what they'll end up at. But obviously, if the Chargers are able to get the right head coach in spot and continue this kind of development on Justin Herbert, I think the Chargers franchise is in good position going forward. So that'll do it for this episode or this breakdown, if you guys will. Hopefully, you're able to look at some things, get some positivity. And at the end of the day, I don't believe in being negative all week, man. And I know that some people on Twitter and stuff like that just want to be negative about everything. That's fine. I'm not going to tell anybody how to be a fan, but focusing on the positive is just way more fun, right? And so I think that this breakdown hopefully is able to get you guys into a more positive view on the Chargers and their standing and really the season, because there are still 9 games, right? Like this team still has a lot of football left to play. And it just wouldn't be any fun to be negative throughout the rest of the season. So hopefully, receiving some good vibes on my end. And really, that's what I'm going to continue to do. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.